Alrighty, and as promised, we are back, and I've got a figure that we're going to be working on together. And in preparation for the paints, I had, um, as part of my process, and some folks, this might just come way more intuitive or natural, and that's totally cool. And if not, that's fine too. So, in getting the figure out, and I've kind of held it in my hand and manipulated it around a bit, um, got a feel for it, and kind of, where things move, and kind of maybe some of the pain points, where things might rub. So, I might want to be a bit more intentional about um, maybe avoiding that area with any kind of paint, but like a wash or a contrast would be fine. So, in looking at this figure, again, I'll remark that Mattel made a really nice sculpt on this. And actually, here, when we look at these bracers on the forearm, we rotate the arm, we see that there's a strap that was actually sculpted but not painted. So, I see that as an opportunity to add paint on these pauldrons. I see some really nice sculpt of some nubs, and I see that as an opportunity for paint. And then we get into this utility belt, which is really, really nice. Again, tons of sculpt, but and the details are there, but as far as paint, there's not paint there. Um, and I see again another opportunity there. Same way with these essentially greaves or shin protectors and the lower leg armor. There's some paint there. There's some detail, um, not a lot. So again, on the outer edges here, we've got um, opportunities for some paint detail. Same as underneath the arm here, and the back looks like maybe there's just a smidgen of yellow, um, which is cool. We've got yellow on the front and some kind of gold details. We got the name of the of the Space Ranger Officer Steel, and got an insignia there. So we do have some details, and completely up to you as to whether or not you cover those up. I'm going to try and retain those details because I think that's what makes the figure special and specific to the property that it is. Now, if you're inclined to be like, hey, this is going to be a Halo figure of some sort, and you don't want anything that would associate it with, Lightyear, then it would totally make sense to cover that up in some fashion, whether or not you strip the paint detail off or you just simply paint over it. So this head sculpt is actually pretty nice, and I could see that just a really simple wash and maybe some dry brushing over top to add in some highlights, and this is decent. Work with that for sure. And then the weapon itself, nothing overly special here, but nonetheless, it's cool, and we can very easily get that in the hand. So, like, okay, all right, here's what we're working with. This is definitely not going to be anything where he's the arms are not going to be able to hold this weapon with two hands without it coming out. So, um, as far as details on this weapon, I've got some ideas that I want to go with, which definitely include some dry brushing of metal to get the barrel of this weapon looking a bit more metallic than it is currently. And then this kind of baton or asp, it's probably not the right word. Um, it's like a sword, a laser sword. I see a peg, so it must peg in. Here we go, right on the back. So that's cool. You can get it in a variety of places. Actually, if you would be right-handed, more than likely, peg it in like that. Reaching over the back, grabbing this weapon. All right, cool. So there we go.